Alright, Shalom, Kalalau, Yahweh, Basham Yahushai, Basham Rakakadash, double honors to the apostles, salute you, brothers, teaching the word in sincerity and in truth. Back at you with another video about the New World Order and just, infrastructure and things that they're bringing in to set this up. Because a lot of people, if you can't see it, you might be, oh, well, I can't see it physically, and things like that. Or how they're going to do this, how they're going to do that. But things are happening on a big level. Now I've just started watching this. This is what I do is I just play something and then just go into it. But this narrator, man, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, the dude sounds. I don't know if I can. He sounds a bit, I'll just play it and you'll see what I mean. But I'm gonna try and go into some of this. So this is the smart cities that we're talking about. Let's play some of this.
City is a catch-all buzzword to describe how technology can be integrated into cities to make them supposedly more efficient, more green, and more safe. But the smart city approach is also radically changing the metropolis in ways that make citizens more watched and trackable than...
Alright, so where do we start? We started here with the people being more trackable. And, we know straight away that is actually what they want. You know what I mean? That's not something that... Let me get this. The scripture says, be not ignorant of Satan's devices, right? Let's get that. Least Satan. We know that is the plan. This is the actual plan of the NWO, of the elites. It says, least Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices, right? So let's do this. Right, so we know, yeah, off that, what his plans are, yeah. We know that he's planning to track everybody. He's planning to have everybody surveillance to the point where he wants ultimate control over everybody. Corinthians tells you that he sits up in the temple of the Most High, saying he's the Most High. He wants that like omnipresence. That the Lord Yahweh, the Most High Yahweh, is everywhere. You know what I'm saying? And he can see everything. That's what they want. They want to be everywhere and they can see everything all at the same time. So their plan to be able to do that is to chip everybody with the RFID mark of the beast. And that goes into, because you read Revelation, it talks about the fact that you won't be able to buy or sell. So, you got people that use cash or, make a transaction that they can't see. They don't want that. They want all your transaction tracked. That's why they're going to do away with cash and bring in a system where you chipped, man. Just to simplify it right now, because that's where we're at. So let's play some more of this on the surveillance. And remember, we just read that we're not ignorant of Satan's devices, right? Let's play this.
But before, you can see that transformation in two cities that have labelled themselves smart. Hyderabad in India, one of the most surveilled places on the planet, and Hong Kong.
The Hong Kong government launched what is called the Smart City Project, and they are actually...
Yeah, you got the scripture, the leopard shall watch over the cities, and Esau, Edom, is watching over everybody in the cities. That's what he's doing. He's actually set up over people, and he's watching them, and he's watching everything that they're doing. Because these are parts of his plans and his agendas and his enterprise. It's at Job 5. Job 5:11, to set up on high those that be low, that those which mourn may be exalted to safety. And you're going to need to be exalted to safety from the tyrannical systematic things that are coming, draconian legislation and all that. Let's play that.
Actually aiming to be a world-class smart city. And what it means is you see more and more surveillance cameras in Hong Kong. Only this year, the government has installed 2,000 more around the city. And as you're traveling around, you see something called the smart lamppost, and you don't really know what it's for. It proclaims itself to be for monitoring air quality. But in fact, people always wonder, is that actually also for facial recognition? So the Smart City initiative allows the Hong Kong government to digitize your life such that your life leaves behind trails and trails of documentation of how you live, where you live, what you do, and who you hang out with.
Hyderabad in India, in the state.
So the data, they got all sorts of data on your ass. Surveillance, resistance lab, yeah. So who you're hanging out with. There's more. So these cameras that are watching you, they're taking data on you, and you just thinking, this is just a camera because, they just need to. I don't know what it is, but they're getting data on you in real time, and this is how they're gonna have the system when it's locked down. Yeah. Now let me put this in. Let me type this in. Let me see what comes up. Big. Where is that? Okay, Big Brother is watching you. It was from 1984, George Orwell's. Now, they actually got a show in England called Big Brother where people just sit there. It's usually celebrities because they're porn slaves, man. They're freaks, man. These UK celebs, and they're freaks. And that's just another facet of Esau's kingdom, the Epicurean lifestyle. Where the freak offs. That's what they do. They tap into you to demons on people, and they're freaks. When you get a deal, you get, freak offs, cakes, cookies, Happy Meals, let me go back here.
State of Telangana is one of Modi's 100 smart cities. What we see there is the digitisation of education and healthcare services, automated monitoring of traffic, so seemingly benign aspects like that. But in addition to that, we have the integrated command and control centre, whereby policing and data collection will be centralised. They're trying to invisibilise the policing infrastructure and embed it into the city. And so you've got thousands of cameras. That is sold to the public as a public safety measure. And historically, it's a Muslim-dominated city. And that's an interesting historical context to think about, given the Hindu nationalist Modi government and the kind of long history of the surveillance and persecution of Muslims in the city. The central promise of the smart city, despite its kind of techno-utopian visions, it's actually about managing disorder and chaos, managing certain populations who are deemed kind of a threat.
In Hyderabad and Hong Kong.
Well, the whole truth of it, like we said, is total control. So they can have total control over people on all levels. That's the real deal with this. Let's read this, right? So Job 5:12, he disappointeth the devices of the crafty, so that their hands cannot perform their enterprise. Their enterprise is what? Is the New World Order. And part of that New World Order, by the way, it's called a New World Order. So to do away with the old world order, the New World Order is about total control over everybody. And a lot of these works, like George Orwell's A Brave New World, and things of that nature, that's what they were showing you. Because they were like predictive programming. Because a lot of these people that wrote the books and that were into them, the same fraternities and that of the people that we're talking about. Okay, H.G. Wells and all that. I think there's like some of these book writers where there's links to them in Crowley, Aleister Crowley. So it gets because it gets dark, right? So you might think, oh well, it's just separate. No, it's not separate. Let's see. No, what I want to know is any connections, but they just give me none of that. Let's see what we can, if there's anything comes up. Okay, well, there's no direct evidence that H.G. Wells and Aleister Crowley were close friends or collaborators. They were contemporaries in the early 20th century, and their paths did cross, particularly within intellectual and occult circles. Both men were fascinated by the idea of human evolution and the potential for Superman and all that human evolution, yeah. You got the mark of the beast and technology for all of that. So they were both into, like when you read these occult circles, they were both linked to these fraternities. So what I'm getting at here is that this book, George, 1984, and these books and stuff like that were writ, yeah? These books that were writ, they were ideas of what they actually want. You know, the people at the top want, you know, and that's what we're getting at. All these smart cities and the smart tech is a plan. It's an agenda, you know what I'm saying? So we see a lot of what happens when when robots narrate stuff, they'll go, oh well, there's if it gets in the wrong hands, or there's a potential. No. This smart cities were set up for this. Okay, let me do this. New World Order, they're always saying that they used to have this. This is. They like to take stuff off there. But it's all good because we go in our faith anyway. Because this is just nowhere near what should be coming up. This is crazy. Alright, let me do it this way because this is crazy. Oh, it's not the Illuminati. We go back to these smart cities, right? Smart cities. Let's see if anything comes up. AI overview. The concept of smart cities is intertwined with discussions about a new world order, often fueled by technological advancements and anxieties about societal control. You already seen what they're using it for. Tracking. Right? And I've showed you. Now the Big Brothers is watching you thing, they had that. That's something. When you go in the London subways, like on the underground in the city of London, you will see that they got posters like literally say like you're being watched and stuff like that. So they've got Big Brother is watching you signs in the city, right? So smart cities categorized by the integration of digital technologies to enhance urban life are seen by some as a pathway to greater efficiency and sustainability. That's what they're going to push. While others view them with suspicion, favoring increased surveillance and centralized power. These perceived link between smart cities and a new world order often stems from conspiracy theories that link to, and you know what, all this conspiracy theory talk, right? Everybody ain't got faith. When this is all set up, right, and you see in the detention centers, the chipping stations, y'all are going to be messed up at that point because it's going to be too late. Because it's going to be time for you making that decision. Okay, about that mark of the beast RFID implant, which, as we know right of now, there's so much stuff going in on that, taking place with that. And I'll check some news on that and do another video on that. But this is what's happening. Then you got Elon and brain chips. This is what's going on right now anyway. It's all linking up. So let's do this. Let's go back to this here. It disappointeth the devices of the crafty, the Illuminati, so that their hands cannot perform their enterprise. And you got people in part of them Freemasons, and they don't know what's going on. Because they got levels to that stuff. Lodges, levels, degrees, so, a lot of people, they're just in it, and they don't really know what the hell's going on. You take if the wise in their own craftiness, because you got the super elite, right, the top banking families. He taketh the wise in their own craftiness, and the counsel of the froward is carried headlong. They meet with darkness in the daytime and group in the noonday as in the night. Yeah, the secret councils, aren't they? Planning dark deeds. And the thing is, right, is that they'll come out in the morning. So in the morning is like they practice it. They'll put out a legislation, but then they're coming out like as if they're like peacefully. Well, this is just for your benefit. That's why it says in Revelation that the two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. Let's. I'm gonna play some more of this. I'm gonna go back and forth.
The smart city narrative has obscured the far-reaching ways the state collects information about its citizens. At their heart, that's what smart cities are about, collecting huge swathes of data to automate how a city is governed. How is that data collected? We unwittingly give it away when we use our phones, get into a car, or tap a smart card to get...
Yeah, so now, smartphone, smart travel, electric car, everything you're doing is being tracked. So you basically now, that's, a lot of y'all are going to be getting that chip because it's just, you're used to the process. That's what it's all about, wearables, holdables, wearables. Then, you go from your phone, I think, to the wearables.
On the metro. The integration of sophisticated cameras and sensors lets city managers do everything from monitoring traffic patterns to recording a person's movement around a city. It's a vision that is driven by technological solutions and the tech companies that provide them.
Smart city is really a marketing term for a package of surveillance, right? The way you get a smart city is you buy some technology that lets you do surveillance, and then theoretically you make some smart decisions based on that data. We don't have a lot of data that supports that it makes cities better. We do know what it does is it gives the city a lot of data that they didn't previously have. Cities have been feeling like competitive with corporations because they start to feel like, oh my God, Google, Facebook know more about the people in my city and what they want and what they need than we do. And so ultimately there's a bit of a tension there where cities want what the corporations have and then they go out and seek to buy it.
Tech giants have been telling us that the smart city is the solution to this crisis of populations growing in urban centres. We're going to need to figure out, how do we do housing? How do we feed ourselves? What are going to be our solutions to climate change, for instance? And so the vision of the techno-utopian smart city is saying technology can solve all of that for you. What is not part of their purported vision is actually this more sinister side, which is that tech corporations and their...
Look at the big boss is watching you. Don't run on the road. So this is what... If you can't see this, you got a problem, bro. And then you know what's crazy? You know what's crazy about this, right? Yeah. Is that they've just... Do you know what she just said about the smart cities are the ones that giving the solution for what's going on out here. Now, what's crazy about that is pretty much right. One second. Is that the solution that the Tsar coming with? 15-minute cities, smart cities. There's a couple of names. Freedom cities. There's all these different names. Population reduction, population control. These are the things that are there. Like you think this ain't a joke? This is real. Type it in. So we ain't like this whole thing that we're dealing with here. Right, let's type this in. Let's type in population control. Because they've come out of it out of their own mouths and said these things, and we're just showing that these things are in the Bible prophecy. One sec, let me do this. Go back here. You know what I'm going to do? I want to read the scriptures. I want to carry on with this verses, right? It says, "But he saveth the poor from the sword, from their mouth, and from the hand of the mighty." So these elaborate councils and meetings and plans that they've got for these agendas, smart cities, 15-minute cities, freedom cities, all of this stuff, Internet of Things, is actually weapons of destruction and control. Because she just said how they're actually mapping out, well, what's the best thing for the population and all this now. I put in population control. From the sounds of it, they're trying to be because you remember you had the Georgia Guidestones. Because population control refers to measures taken to influence and regulate the growth or decline of a population, whether human or animal. Now they don't want growth, do they? Did Bill Gates say that? Have you heard any of them from these organizations come out and say they want population growth? You've never heard that? Because that's not what they want. Let's type this in. Population reduction, also known as depopulation, refers to a decrease in the number of people living in a specific area or globally. This can occur due to various factors such as low birth rates, high mortality rates, including from disease, war, famine, or immigration. The world's population growth is currently slowing down, and some regions are experiencing actual population decline. Now they got movements that are having men and women not having children. You know, you guys know what these movements are. That's part of it. These indoctrinations. Indoctrination, philosophies. When you read about the wine, the cup full of all blasphemies and all this sort of stuff, and you know, and all this, that's great. Let's see if we can get that. it's 17 actually. Let's see. Revelation 17 and 4. And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet colour, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand, full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication. Now, let's get an image of that. The woman on the beast. So the woman on the beast, it goes back to the Bible. So the internet knows what it is, right? Okay, let's do this. Okay, let's do it like this. Oh, that's not what it is. Let's do it like this. And Revelation. Alright, let's use this one. So, that woman in the purple represents America, okay, and the other places, the kingdoms and stuff like that. Now, America, is the tool, the driving tool that the Illuminati use or are using, right, to push those agendas, bro. They've used it for feminism and the alphabet stuff, and it, you know, because all these, and there's movements that have come out of that, sub movements, with movements upon movements. Now, if you're about those movements are having birth rates and all that decline, which, as we know, according to the scriptures, be fruitful or multiply is one of the first commandments, first instructions you get at the start of the scriptures. So that's against the Bible. It's against the blueprint that the Lord put down here. So that's what they're about. Now let's do this. So the woman sat upon a scarlet beast full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet colour, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand, full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication. And upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery, Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and the abominations of the earth. Now, going into what we was talking about, let's go. You know what? Let's do this. Let's go back to the video.
Partners are using the smart city model to actually consolidate their power and their control over the city and over our lives as well. And their partners are using the smart city.
The top elite, Illuminati, are doing that, and the thing is that it's a plan that they've had. Okay, just like it says, big. I didn't know this was in there. Big Boss is watching you. That's how you know it's a spirit, because I didn't know that was in there. The spirit just had me pull up George Orwell's 1984. I didn't even know that this was in the documentary. But this just shows you, when you understand what's really going on, then it all lines up. It's not random. Oh well, someone just decided because they're upset, or they just no. It's been they've had these blueprints, plans. Okay, this one always does that. You can't find what you type in. Let's type it in again. Let me see if I can get some info on this. Just what the Big Brother is a character and symbol in George Orwell's dystopian 1949 novel. 1984. He is ostensibly the leader of Oceania, a totalitarian state wherein the ruling party wields total power for its own sake over the inhabitants. Yeah. So that's what that was about, right? And that's what they put in that 1949 novel. You know what, I might do something else on this, because just to show you that these things are all they're all set up. They're all plans, agendas, all of that, bro. And they were set up by people in these different fraternities. Now, hopefully, they allow this video because of the because I'm using Al Jazeera on the news.
Model to actually consolidate their power and their control over the city and over our lives as well.
As more power is ceded to multinational companies offering to remake our cities, it becomes harder to scrutinize how our data is being collected and to what end. Experience shows that those companies...
See, oh, did you see that? If you can see this, we can see you. So all this, it's big. It's all this stuff that was written by this in this fucking novel and other things. You know, it weren't just that one, but that's the one that, you know, is being focused on right now. We type in this. Type in George Orwell's. Okay, you had H.G. Wells, you had George Orwell. We type in him. Oh yeah, Aldous Huxley is another one. Huxley. Let's see what it's saying. So I do that 1 second. Okay, so George Orwell and Aleister Crowley were contemporaries who, despite their different paths, shared some points of connection and overlap. So that's what you're finding out with all these book writers. Which I'll do another video on that, bro, because it just proves what we're fucking saying. It proves what we're bloody saying, yeah. Alright? It just proves it. Let's go back to this, man.
These are often motivated not by public good, but by a desire to exploit the data they collect for profit.
So, for instance, corporations such as MasterCard, they are interested in extracting data as it relates to digital ID systems.
With actionable data insights, we enable the public sector to make informed policy decisions.
So they partner with Edemia, a French biometrics firm, and they provide solutions into smart cities everywhere and are also extracting vast quantities of data that can then intersect with state data collection.
Our advanced biometric and cryptographic technologies are behind a lot of things you already know and trust. We think about them so you don't have to.
We've seen how undocumented migrants who might use some of these MasterCard solutions, that can reveal someone's status to the Department of Homeland Security, for instance.
So the banks are linked up with your ID and all of that. It's all linked. It's all linked, you know, so there's nothing to scoff about, bro. It's what is there to scoff about, man? It's if you got some patience, right, and you check this stuff out, and the spirit's gotta like get you off the Murph trip for a bit, man. You know, you will clearly see what's going on, bro. They've just told you in the documentary, MasterCard is collecting data and setting it up, monitoring. Obviously, she put it in better words for you for the digital IDs, right?
See how these things intersect and interplay, and often these interests of data extraction are aligned.
Because all these major corporations are set up and run by these top families, bro. Facts. Do you want us to go through and start naming these guys, man? We should name them all the time.
Silicon Valley billionaires seem to be moving towards building their own systems of surveillance and their own smart cities. Some of the leading tech moguls have actually started their own efforts to build cities in California, allegedly to solve the housing crisis.
Eastern Solano County, where a new community can rise.
But they want to build them in this sort of smart city tech utopia way that the surveillance will be built in from the beginning.
A community that is well thought out and well laid out.
So everything we talk about, they've put it in this documentary. Like straight out, just put it in there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to probably put this little part in another one. Snippet the stuff. I'll do it like that. And this is just going into what we're saying. Let's read Revelation 13. Right. Let's see. In 16. Revelation 13 and 16, it causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and the whole payment thing, the paying, buying and selling, you know, that's something again within itself, which is all linked. And that no man might buy or sell save he that the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. So that's your mark of the beast, where you're in these smart cities and you won't be able to pay for nothing, yeah, or do anything unless you got that mark of the beast, that chip, bro. Okay, because you're gonna need a way to. You think that they're gonna do this, all this tech, everything going electric? Does it make sense, common sense, that they're going to be still using cash? It doesn't. It really just doesn't even make sense. Even just thinking about it don't make no sense. So it just don't make no sense. Okay, let's do this. Let's get Corinthians. What am I even? Do you know? Let me do this because it's not. It's just slipped my mind. But wait there. It says I know how to get this. Spirit. Mouth and consumed him with the brightness of physical spirit of his mouth. Okay, Thessalonians, 2 Thessalonians 2. I got something else in my mind. Corinthians. 2 Thessalonians 2 and 4. Who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God, which is Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, the Most High, or that is worshipped, so that he as a power, sitteth in the temple of the Most High, showing himself that he is a God, that he is the Most High. So they're trying to play God on the planet, basically, and monitor and control everything that people are doing, like every single aspect. When you chip them, you can watch everywhere that they're going, everything that they're doing. And that's what he wants to do for everybody on the planet. Depopulate the planet, control everybody. And that's why you've had people come out and say it. Let's see if I can get a depopulation. Let's type in this depopulation quotes. So I said no. See, this is all that he didn't say that. No, Bill Gates is not a plan to depopulate. I mean, this is crazy. He said it out of his own mouth. This is crazy, man. See, this is why the internet is controlled, bro. There you go. The quotes is right there, and they're saying, no, he didn't say that. It's right. See, this is what we're saying. And when, you know, this is why they're controlling the internet with the internet kill switch, all right? That we know that they're gonna push. Well, anyway, I'm gonna close it out. And I'll catch you on the next show. Shalom.